Okay, so one of the exciting things for me is that people are getting my books, and that was why I had thought of reading a few excerpts from it instead of doing another slideshow. So how are things going with your daughter and granddaughter?
Well, I kind of have some issues right now that are making me a little upset. I don't know how personable I want to be since this is public, you know. Maybe
Okay.
I could still maybe talk in general and without giving too many specifics. But
Okay.
I reported to you before how successful I thought we were doing,
Yes.
um, and by using your tools, specifically the one rule, and I still contend that I'm keeping my pace and I'm keeping the way that I handle things still in a good way. Right now, I'm going through an issue. I don't want to make too much of it from my own personal thoughts, but I feel a little deceived, and I feel that my daughter has lost my trust a little bit by some decisions she's been making lately. It's almost as if she's regressed back into her past and hasn't been totally honest with me, but then felt guilt, which I think the one rule thing put that in her mind that she needed to come talk to me about the dishonesty and and some of the things that she's done lately. And although I stayed calm, which in the past wasn't always my way, I told her that I was upset, and it reminded me of some previous ways and previous things of how maybe we all acted, you know. But I'm still concerned now that I lost some trust, and I need to feel that that won't happen again. So I need to forgive, I guess, but I'm concerned. You
Right.
understand what I'm
Yeah.
getting at?
Yes.
This this time again, it has to do with she has a new boy that's been coming around. So she's been in a situation where she's been untruthful with me about him and where they've been and where they meet up and you know just things of that sort. And
Well, usually when people are untruthful, it's because they are concerned about um, the consequences of being truthful, um, that it might not put them in a good light or the light they would like to be in. Maybe they even have concerns themselves about what they're doing. So um, I'm not sure where your daughter's coming from, but that is what I've noticed is the most common thing. Now, if there was a habit in the past of not being truthful, and if you guys had sort of a pattern going back and forth about that, um, that can also come up when like if someone's they're unsure about the whole thing, they can revert to past patterns. And one thing that seems really significant to me is that your response was not part of the old pattern. And I think that is a really positive aspect of this whole thing, and a chance for it to move on, because she will certainly have noticed, and especially if you bring it up, that you didn't react as you might have. You responded to her instead of reacting out of a past pattern. And
Very,
so, what?
very interesting what you're saying. Yeah, you hit it right on the nail. Your expertise and experience just went right to. I think I said why. I asked her why. Why would you feel a need to lie to me and or be dishonest? And she went back into old thinking that she didn't want to make me upset. So she chose to lie to me because she was thinking of the old ways that I would handle it, which
Right,
is relevant to maybe she was thinking she was doing something from the past by lying to me, which isn't something that has been done currently. So she took the whole thing back to a deja vu, I think,
right.
that she was repeating old behaviors from her past, which I've been sitting around here contemplating that, thinking she's had two boyfriends before this have caused major issues, but she's got through them. But I'm still here. I'm the stable one. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
When all is said and done, those two guys came and went, and I had issues with them. I have issues with this third and current person. And at first, I was very nice. I was like jovial about, so how's he doing? That, where is he today? And blah blah blah. But then after he became a person that was bringing me problems, I vocalized that a little bit. Like, this guy doesn't have it together. He's bringing me problems. And now I find her being dishonest with me about seeing him, and saying she's going one place, but she's going to see him, or borrowing my car to say she's doing one thing, but going to pick him up and, see him and stuff like that, which I view him as an irresponsible person if he needs my daughter to lie for him so she could go give him a ride because his vehicle's broke down and he doesn't have the resources to fix it and things like that. I'm trying to explain that to her. She's 29 years old. Next birthday she'll be 30. This guy's 32, and I don't see him as a stable person that's making the right decisions. Um,
Well, one thought that I had is something that I mentioned earlier. I think it might be important to point out to her how your response in this is different, because she may not be aware of it, because she's still caught up in this situation and the way it relates to past things. And
teach by example doesn't always kick in. That's what you're saying?
um, I think especially, I'm thinking especially with people that are adults, you have developed a lot of ways of being, and it just, I mean, it may not be true, but she might be more caught up in that aspect of it than realizing, oh yeah, I don't know, does she call you dad?
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad, oh, he was different this time. He didn't he
Maybe.
didn't whatever you used to do. He didn't do that. Um,
right?
huh. Maybe, you know, things can be different.
I said think rather than going off and yelling and all, I said
Hmm.
things like, why do you feel a need to lie to me? Why I didn't expect that from you. That's something I expected from the past. We've been through that already, and I thought we got through that. And she said, well, I didn't want to upset you, which made me go back to thought I was going to get all bent and upset. I'm not really like that anymore. I've learned that from you, Karen, to give in a little bit. You know what I mean? Because you're always calm, and when I read your books, I read that that's kind of a good way to be, where people aren't afraid of you, they respect you rather than fear you. And I learned
Right.
that from reading your books.
Wow.
The first
Cool.
thing that hit me about this, the way people would treat the children as like little slaves and boss them around and tell them what
Uh-huh.
to do. And they say, but why, Daddy? Because I said so. How many parents still continue to do that? And how many
Right.
parents continue, a child should be in the room and be seen, not heard? I don't buy that. They have their opinions, even though they don't have the ability to express them as well as we do. They still can say, my little 3-year-old granddaughter, Papa, my shows. So even though she's asked me to turn on her TV shows rather than what I'm watching, but she's willing for me to say, well, I'm watching something else. You could put on your shows in your room or in the living room. And she'll go, okay, bye bye. So easy. That's one thing I learned from you. It was so, usually 99% of the time I give in. I was like, you want to watch your shows? Give me the remote. And let me even show you how to put on channel 93, and that's your shows that you watch all the time. And 99% of the time I give in, just because it's not important for me to watch TV. It's more important for me to be sitting with my granddaughter,
Yeah.
watching her, watching her be happy. So I missed a rerun of Oprah. I don't care. But she got to watch her cartoons with grandpa. But if I
Right.
am watching something like the presidential debate or something that was important to me that day, I might say, oh, well, grandpa's watching something else. Right now, I'd like to see this. Can you put on your shows in the living room? And she'll usually just bend, like you said. Kids don't hold grudges too long, or they
Right.
don't really get bent like I think I used to do. They just said, okay, move on. I'm going to go put them on in the living room. Bye, Papa. See ya. Come back later. Okay. Shut my door. Okay. So things usually work out. And I think this situation I'm talking about right now hopefully will work out if I let go. Part of it has to be that I need to let go.
Uh-huh.
Because that's part of the idea of compromising and and thinking about the other person, not myself. My first things, and I didn't want to go this far, but I'm going to say it. My ex-wife hurt me because she was dishonest, and
Uh-huh.
research afterwards, from my point, found that she was that way for a long time. Now, her original origins for being that way probably was to hide things from me so she wouldn't hurt me. I understand that. My daughter might be coming from the same place right now.
Right.
Hey, just don't tell him what he doesn't know won't hurt him. But eventually it comes out and then it hurts double because on top of
Yeah.
everything, they did something wrong to you and then they lied about it. And that I thought I made clear to both individuals, my ex-wife and my daughter, I don't like people lying to me. I just don't like dishonesty. One of my brothers taught me that from an early age, from his relationships with his kids. He said the first thing he developed was a sense of trust. He would tell them before they even understood the concept when they were younger, he would tell them that you need to trust me. And then when they got a little older, he would say, and I need to trust you. That we would, our conversation back and forth will be the truth, that we were on the same runway, we're on the same path, that we can count on each other. And that's what I was trying to insinuate earlier when we were talking a minute ago, when I was saying that my daughter going back to an old way, maybe I didn't realize that before. When I used to get mad, I was being selfish, saying, um, she's mean to me, she lied to me, these are bad people, I'm the good one and they're not. No, it's not a character flaw. It's just a flaw in decision making at that time because of lack of knowledge. And that's where your books come in, for people to be reminded of how to be. It's a character education, not a character flaw. That's the reason we are teachers, I think. Do we have the knowledge? One thing that me and you talked about once is, between the two of us, we have 90 years of educational service that we've given to other folks, that we've shared with other people. Because, gosh, you've taught in schools and you've written books. People listen to what you have to say. And I like to feel the same way about myself, but now we're collaborating about this
Yeah,
stuff like we're doing today, and we could feel that we can express ourselves without any fault. There's a
right.
reason, there's a purpose for what we're doing, and we're offering each other and anyone else who wants to get involved, our services to help and improve their relationships with other people. But doesn't mean that there's not going to be problems along the way.
Right, for
And
sure.
that's where I'm sitting right now with an issue. Every once in a while she sticks her head in my room here where I'm at. Can I get you anything, Dad? Are you okay? Are you hungry? So maybe she's trying to make up in a little bit. She just
Right.
stuck her head in here a second ago and brought me my mail. Like, that was nice of her. I
Yeah.
didn't have to hobble. I didn't have to hobble out to the mailbox myself. She brought it to me, and she saw that I was on the show with you, and just kind of gave me like, "Hi, Dad, bye." So
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
it
I'm
seems
working.
like this time it's different. Already
Yeah.
it's different. It's
Oh yeah.
different.
Hmm.
And it can be it already it's better. So it sounds good.
It's better for me. Better for me because I'm not upset. I'm uh I'm not physically, I'm thinking about it. The thoughts are on my mind, and I'm more willing to forgive at this point, where I know that I'm the stable person, and I'm not going to burn any more bridges by coming back with attacks and saying negative things and make the situation worse, which I might have done in the past. Um, Gosh, one thing that, this is hard for me to say, but I'm just going to say it. When I went to marriage counseling at the very end before my divorce, and the woman and the counselor asked me, "So what's your issues, with your wife?" And I just had a list. I could go right down a list. She lies to me. She steals from me. She embezzles money from our business and doesn't tell me. She even lies to the accountants. Well, I went right on. And then she said to my wife at the time, "What's your problems with him?" And she says, "I don't know." And she goes, "What do you mean you don't know? You want to leave him and be divorced? Well, there must be some issues." All she said was, well, first, before she even had an answer, she was prodded and prompted by the counselor. "Well, is he loving? Yes. Is he caring? Yes. Does he do all that? Does he lie or do all the things that you he was saying that you do to him? No." And then she said, "Well, then what's the problem?" "It's just the way he makes me feel sometimes." I was thinking, wow, I must have a power that I don't know of. It must be some kind of superpower hero that I can make someone feel that bad about themselves by doing nothing. Oh, you know what I mean? I learned from that.
Well, one thing that I could see right now from your wife is she didn't know, and I don't know about now, but she didn't know how to keep her own power. She didn't know how to be responsible for the way she feels. She gave
And
it over to you.
it
And
got too far. She said it was too far gone. She could never go back. You know what I mean? I think a lot of it was on her, that she
yeah,
could never forgive herself about the mistakes she made. And
uh,
maybe at the time, this is long before I ever met you and the one rule and things like that, she might be right. I might have held a grudge for the rest of my life. Or in anger, when something else maybe happened, I might bring back the past and hold it against her.
hmm,
You know, in a
right.
fit of rage.
Yeah.
Remember when you did this back in 1998? You know, maybe I would have did something like that. Remember when
Yeah.
we had $80,000 in cash, and then I found out we had nothing because you did this or that? I would never let go. But now I have, you know, I let
Uh,
go. And I wrote about that in my book in one a chapter. I wrote about some specific incidences that happened to me that I thought I wouldn't let go. And I have to admit, there's times I wake up at night and I have anger about it, but then I take a deep breath. Like, well, I even wrote about this in my book. You know, your life sucks because you do it to yourself. My life sucked because I wouldn't let go of something that has already happened. I have people now that are doing things to me, and I just try to stay calm, even though I know it's wrong. And I watch the religious people say, well, you know, we need to forgive and move on and all that. This is not that simple for me. Sometimes I just feel let down that, or for example, I have a guy right now. I gave him one of my prize collections. It's a pickup truck that I own, like a monster truck. He's a
uh-huh.
friend of mine. He's a friend of mine, and he could use the business. So I let him pick up the truck from my property and take it to his home to put a paint job on it. Didn't really need a paint job, but he could have used the work. So I was trying to be nice. I wasn't using the truck too much at the time. It was just like a side vehicle that I own, you know, something just for fun.
Yeah.
He's had it now for over 5 years. I paid
Slow
him in
painter,
advance.
right?
Yeah. But in the meantime, it's sat under a tree and it's on his property and it's got worse. Now it has rust and it has issues and it's all dirty and also he's taken the emblems off and he's sanded it and put primer on it and it's all messed up now. It's not even in the great condition it was when I gave it to him. It's worse. Plus I paid him. So I've been advised by other folks to just go get it. But I don't want to bring a piece of junk home. But in the meantime, I miss it. It was something that was, you know, a prized possession for me. You know, I keep pictures of it around. Here's a picture of my son when he was small, you know,
Uh-huh.
standing by it. You know, it's
Cool.
just it's a cool vehicle.
Yeah.
There's my little boy, you know, I have pictures of it just laying around. And then I got other pictures on the wall here too of the kid when he grew up being tall. I don't know if I can get to that one or not, but there he is being tall, looking at, you know, doing it, and and that in that picture he's holding a trophy that he won because we used to let him take it to car shows. So it's an older vehicle. It's a classic,
Yeah, it looks
and
like.
it's something that was a special thing to me. But now my friend, you know what's funny? I used to send him texts and call him, say USOB. I thought we were friends, and you know he wouldn't respond if I was mean. But now when I call up, say, "Hey, how you feeling?" You know, now I get responses. I'm okay. And then, but I'm afraid to ask any progress on my truck. I don't even bring it up because he knows I want it back. So, and I hope that he doesn't think that I'm just making contact with him to say that, but he knows I want it back. there was a point where I got mad and I said, I'm just going to take you to court. And he was like, don't be stupid. I didn't know what that response meant. Got any thoughts on that?
No. Well,
Well,
courts aren't
some
really that great. So maybe, I don't know what he has in mind, but
right. Well, some people, they even I read it from some of the people that we know. They post things on social media, such as some people, they're doing you wrong, but as soon as you retaliate, you're the bad guy.
hmm,
It brings us full circle back to, I said that to my daughter. I said, why am I always the bad guy? Because I got lied to and I'm upset about it, but now I'm the bad guy. I said it like that instead of throwing things and saying, you liar, you lied to me. But so now I'm the bad guy, right? Because I'm upset about it a little bit. So, and that's how I responded. She was just more like, sorry, Dad. You know, what else could she say is what I think about when I'm alone, contemplating how to handle this situation.
right.
She knows that no matter what happens, I'm still gonna love her, and would never disown her or anything like that.
So have you told her that recently?
In those words like that,
Something like
maybe
that.
not.
Yeah.
Maybe I need.
Because
You're
sometimes
right.
people do need, sometimes, I mean, they do need to hear things. Even your friend, like it's the truck may be more top of your mind, but maybe it's like lower on the list of things that are in your friend's mind.
Which is
And
true. When I gripe about the truck negatively, he says, "What about all the things I did for you before?" Which is true. He's a mechanic, and if I ever broke down on the side of the road, he would either come out himself or send someone to save me, and he has done that. And then in the past, maybe I would say, "Yeah, that was 5 years ago. You haven't done anything lately. I paid you in advance to fix my truck." I went right back to what was my thoughts. So you're right. He's having, you know how I'm having health issues. He has similar health issues now too, and maybe it's hard for him to get out there and actually do that physical work on my truck. So he's been putting it off, putting it off, putting it off. Maybe in his head, and I never thought about this till you just put this in my mind right now. Maybe he wants to do a great job and he wants to do it himself. When I actually suggested, why don't you just take the money I gave you and pay someone else to do it? Maybe he really wants to do it himself. Maybe when it's done, he wants me to say, my friend did this. He painted this truck. Not like took him 6 years, but he finally did it. But he knows he knows in his heart it's not my main vehicle, but he knows I want it back because I'd rather have it in my garage than under a tree at his house. But
right.
it's something that's going on in my life. Someone that let me down, someone that didn't come through with the expectations that I wanted, the way I saw it.
So have
Now,
you ever like had this kind of conversation with him in the kind of way you're doing it now, which
very, very similar, but then I got promises that never were fulfilled.
uh-huh.
I would have it like, love you like a brother. We were good friends. You're right. Boy, I would like to have the truck to take to my son's wedding, which was a year and a half ago now. Never got it. Maybe I could have it by Christmas. It gives you 6 more months. So at one point, he took it to another shop to work on it, and things went wrong there. So he brought it back. So yeah, but you're right. When I do talk that way, I get positive response, and actually, I get answers to my texts. Sometimes I call in person. Not always does he take my calls because maybe he thinks that I'm going to yell and scream. And he said things like that too to me, like, if you didn't yell and cuss at me, I'd be more willing to work on your stuff. Like, to me,
Well,
I don't really
that's
take that as a good answer.
no, it's
Right. That
not.
doesn't make it right.
No.
If you didn't treat people like that, he said. Like, I don't treat people like that, just you right now, but I don't know. It's been an issue. I never expected that he actually came and took the truck from my house. That was the plan. I expected him to put a paint job on it. I paid him in advance, which was very nice of me, because I actually gave him his materials, money, and I gave him his pay all in advance. That
Hmm.
was nice, because I knew that would be a nice thing from my part, which only idiots do that nowadays, is what I've learned. But I don't care. I don't know. That's just the way I am. And so I know I'm in the right here. I'm the person, but the way I handle it is an issue, I guess. It's hard to stay calm and handle it where I'm the responsible person that doesn't, how my wife said, it's just the way I made her feel, she said. Like, she did things wrong, she made mistakes, but I made her feel bad about it. Maybe that was my hidden way of getting even. And I'm just learning that now by making him feel bad. I paid you in advance. I trusted you to, of all people, my pride and joy to paint it. I wanted you to do it. And then just make them feel worse and worse. And that's what I could have did to my daughter. I could have said, "You lied to me, just like the old days. Yep, just like you used to do. Why did I expect you? I didn't say any of this. Why would I expect
Right,
you
I
not
know.
to lie to me? Because you're a damn liar. That's what you do. Maybe in my old days, when I mean, I'll be 60 on my next birthday, but maybe when I was 30, I would say things like that. And maybe that's what my wife's talking about. Maybe that's what my daughter was reminiscing, thinking that I was going to go off like that. But this time I didn't.
I think it's really important to point that out. Make sure. I mean, just like you did notice this, right? You noticed I didn't, whatever you were afraid of, I didn't do it. So let's, do things differently now.
Maybe,
Let's do
maybe she's
things in ways that we can both feel good about.
hopefully she's not tiptoeing around like they say, like on eggshells, wondering when it's going to come, when the storm's going to hit.
Ah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
that would be good to let her know that she doesn't have to be be concerned that there is no storm coming.
Right.
That
And
you
there's
want
not.
to work things out with her instead of take over by that kind of
And
reaction.
I, and I don't think that I'm the type of person that holds some kind of power over folks, to friends or family, where I could get even, or it's more about me than you, or I could do things to hurt you too. I don't. I don't think, even in my days of acting not how I want to be or how I want to be seen, that I was like that. I was never like person that I'll get even with you.
Right.
There's there's people out there like that hold grudges and go out of
Yeah.
their way to make
Yeah.
others miserable. And I think that's what that counselor was trying to get out of my ex-wife when we were in counseling. Well, what does you know he do to you that makes you mad? And she didn't have anything. He's like, to the counselor, like, is he loving? Yes. Does he care about you? Yes. Does he show you that? Yes. Does he ever lie to you or steal from you the things he accused you of? And she said, no, he won't even go in my purse to get keys or anything. He hands me the whole purse and I go in there. Where here I had someone stealing checks out of my checkbook, writing them, doing things totally unethical and uncalled for, and totally should be not be in a marriage to have to live under those circumstances. It was terrible for me, and maybe I'm still not over it,
Hmm.
and maybe I'm worried that people that treat me like that. But I've learned, and like I said, from you and reading your things, that it's about me. It's my thoughts. You can't take a negative thought and put it in your hand and, play with it, make a ball out of it. It's just a thought. It's just in your head. You have to let go of it and not go down that way. We've talked about this before in your
Yeah,
sessions. What you think about, you become. And if you're always thinking about the negative things
right.
and the bad things that happen to you, then you're a bad negative thinker person. If you think about the happy things, or like for right now, what you're trying to say to me, and I see you prompting me and coercing me to go this way, to, hey, maybe you should go talk to your friend nicely. Maybe you should tell your daughter what you're really thinking. Maybe you should go do this. You're not telling me what to do. You're kind of just letting me discover for myself. And I think your books do that too. They don't tell you, stop treating kids like dirt. You were saying more like, if you let them be part of the decision, they're going to tell you what they want, and you're going to tell them what you want, and then you see how you both can compromise and get positive results out of that. Instead of being the parent that just says, bedtime, go to bed. What? Like, my mom used to say things to me like, get out of my sight. Like, what? I
Wow.
think, and she's not like that anymore, but I
Yeah,
think she's learned too. You know what I mean? And
interesting.
she used the tools she had at the time. Maybe,
Right.
I'm the oldest of 8 kids. And maybe when she had 8 kids and she was 35 years old, and, she was just so mad at you, she was, get out of my sight, like, I don't even want to deal with you right now. That was the way she handled it then. That was the tools she had. And
Right.
now when I see that my younger brothers and sisters, I don't know if they were ever spoke to like that. So I think maybe my mom learned that she couldn't have these high expectations of all of her children, which she expected from us. We only could give her what we had at the time. It was her
Right.
job to teach us, and not to say, get away from me, you're not doing what I want. It's more like, hey, and what you're doing to me right now, suggesting that I make better decisions or do things that would be positive influence, make positive results rather than making things worse. It's always easier to make things worse.
Right. If you're already headed down that road, it's easier to
Mm-hmm.
keep going than to turn.
Instead of
Yeah,
mending a
because
wound, you
momentum
could,
is already going in that direction.
yeah.
That's for myself, because I have things going on too. For myself, um, I have found what I call my pattern interrupt so useful, so powerful and useful. Um, because the moment I notice I'm headed in a direction I don't want to go, most of the time the pattern interrupt will come to my mind. Sometimes I even find myself repeating this phrase in my mind. And it's not like I tried to, but something in me realized I was headed in a direction I didn't really want to go, one that wouldn't feel too good if I kept going and thinking along those lines.
What
Anyway,
is that phrase? What is that phrase that you don't want to share it? It's private. What I
well,
notice is that you meditate often and
yes.
you walk on your treadmill a lot. So that's kind of like, I just noticed that. I think when you're under stress, you're like, bye bye, I got to go on the treadmill. And you'll say, I got home from this and I walked on my treadmill. Or you'll say, after my meditation today, I get that from you a lot. And I'm thinking, that's how she lets go. That's how she gets away,
Well, this
from.
pattern interrupt, and I will share with you, not here, but I will share it with you. I don't know that it matters the phrase or the word or the sentence or whatever. I don't know that it matters what you use. But I will
Some
share this
people,
with you later, okay? I
sure,
will share this with you.
some people put the serenity prayer in a frame, over the
Yeah,
bathroom. They
right,
brush their teeth reading, I have the power to, to observe
right.
things and choose the wrong this, what's the difference between this and that. I understand that. I actually really do have the prayer memorized, but the reason is behind it, when you just say things at a memorization, you're not really thinking what it means. And I used to do that as a teacher. I would prove things that, when I was in Catholic school, they made us memorize so many prayers and stuff, but we would
Yeah.
just do it to make them happy. We weren't really, you know, bless the Lord, he's I guess about see night bounty to Christ and all that, man. What? That, rub a dub dub, let's eat the grub. It's the same thing,
Well,
Our Father who
anyway,
art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. What? Howard? God's name is Howard? Hail Mary, full of grace, Lord is thee, blessed art thou among swimming. Swimming? Mary was a swimmer? You know, they don't know. They're just saying, right?
uh,
What comes after the letter K in the alphabet? Oh, elemental P. That's a letter? Elemental P? Where does that? Where's that? H-I-J-K, elemental P. Where's that letter? I never use that in a word, elemental P. You know,
oh, I hadn't heard
that's
that one.
that's the problem with our education system. H-I-J-K, elemental P. Elemental P. I don't, ask any kid. Ask a little kid. I swear to you. What comes after K and alphabet? They'll go, elemental P. Oh, what letter's that? Oh, I've done it. Ave
Wow.
Maria, Gracia, Plena, Dominus, Tecum, Benedicta, tu, and what is that? Oh, that's the Hail Mary in Latin. Oh, why do we need to know that? Um, I don't know. In nomine Patre, et Filii, Spiritus Sancte, Amen. But when you I taught that to kids, so I would say, in the name of the Father and of the Son and the Holy Spirit. That there now we know what it means, right? So let's break it down, and talk about it. And one day I
So,
taught the Hail
yeah.
Mary, the third graders, and Sister Penicillin or whatever her name was. She like fell on the ground. She I haven't heard that in 40 years. Like, well, now they know it in English and they know it in Latin, and they still don't know what they're saying. And we're full of grace, Lord, among swim right. It's everything. Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands. What? It's Halloween? Which it stands? Right? Right? It's not Halloween. Oh, say, can you see? By the dawn's early, what dawn? Delta dawn. What's that flower you have on? What the heck? They don't know. The dawn's early lights. Well, who turned on the lights? What is he talking about? You know, that guy was laying in a boat, and the boat was getting bombed. And he wrote that song. But nobody knows that. They should look it up. You
Yeah,
know,
I didn't know that.
and the flag was still there. He's like, and man, the flag's still
Wow.
there. We're still alive. We're getting bombed. They're blowing up our boat. You know, oh, say, can you see why the dawns are like it's morning and we're still here. They bombed the heck out of us. Our boat didn't sink and our flag's still there. That's what's going on in that song. But nobody knows that except people like us, like teachers that look it up and maybe try to explain it to their class. That's the kind of teacher I like to be.
Teachers like you. I didn't know that either.
That's just one thing, but when you just have memorization and you're just talking out your butt because that's what people want you to do, let's take it to this level. Standardized testing. Why does a kid that lives on a farm need to know the same things as a kid that lives in the city? Why it's got to be, they don't need to have that vocabulary or that kind of, even the scheduling. That's why we have summers off. Does anybody ever talk about that? So
Right,
the kids can go help their parents work. But we still have
right.
summers off, and now it's 2021. Who knows where we're going now? We've got summers off. Now we're on the line like me and you were doing right here learning.
Right.
And I got principals complaining about, tell your mom not to breastfeed her little kids while you're at school. Like, what? Why would she be walking by? You're on TV, lady. Don't I mean, you don't breastfeed your kids at a Raffi concert either. It's the same thing, I don't know. Or a school board meeting. You wouldn't really do it there. It's like a personal thing, and nobody thinks about the kid. The little baby should have rights too. Maybe he doesn't want it.
Yeah.
Maybe the little baby, and this is stuff that you talk about in your books. The mom showing her breast, which is not really something that people accept in public. It's like walking around naked.
Right.
You wouldn't do that. But what about the little kid it's feeding? He has rights too. And that's the kind of stuff I learned, by thinking for both sides. Just like physically disadvantaged people with disabilities. That's why we have parking, handicapped parking signs. They don't always get the first spot. I noticed some restaurants give them the second or third. So somebody get lucky, you can get the first spot even though you walk good. There's an old
Right.
joke I like about someone took that spot or handicapped spot. Look at that guy, got out of his car. He's not even handicapped. He parked in a handicapped spot. So I went over to yell at him and say something to it. And then his grandma got out of the parking spot, started hitting me with her cane. Like, that's a good. But people need to not be judgmental as they are, I guess. And even though I've been making jokes
help.
about it, yeah. I try not to judge everybody. Till you walk in their shoes, you don't know, or try to walk in their shoes. I mean, go put their shoes on. I don't know. Turn around, step the other way, and look back. Look back from the mirror and see where that person's coming from. See why your daughter is lying to you. There must be a reason. Was it always for her advantage? Or could it have been partly because she was thinking of you? People don't think that.
Right.
Might have been, like,
even I didn't bring that up.
She was thinking, well, I don't really like to lie to him, but I'm going to, and because I don't want him to be upset.
And that's part of a pattern too.
Yeah. That's
it
not
sounds
selfishness.
like one she learned from her mom.
That's what I was thinking.
Those are strong.
And,
I know. Being a daughter.
Me, I don't know if that's selfishness. That might be more concern for another. Might be thinking the other way. I asked somebody the other day if life insurance was worth it. Here I am, I'm turning 60, and I'm thinking, I can't get a good deal anymore because I'm 60. I should have bought it back when I was 20, And they said to me, I think life insurance is the most unselfish thing a person can do. I'm like, that's weird. I read that again, So that was an interesting response. I don't know if she was a salesman or not, but that is to make the sacrifice now. But I'm the type of person, I like to give things away when I'm alive. I like to share, and I've given away a lot of things, including like musical instruments and stuff like that. And at times I regret it. I think back, well, I still had that guitar or something. But at the time, especially when you find out that they took it to a pawn shop or something, you thought you were doing something good. Something like, hey, where's that 7-string guitar I gave you back in 1968? Oh, I pawned it. Like, what? So you can't have any expectations. You need to just think you're doing a good deed and then move on. Don't always have to
release it, like you said.
Yeah, let go. But
yeah,
I feel like if you want to give. But when people ask you, maybe you should expect something back. Like here, if someone says, could I borrow $2,000? Most people say no, Because if I lend you money, it's going to bring a problem between us. My dad taught me at an early age, just give it to him only if you can afford it, because don't expect
Mm,
it back. If you expect it
right.
back, you have
That's where the
expectation.
problem comes. Yeah.
Even though they say, I'll pay you back as soon as I can, and then you never get it. And then for the rest of your life, you're always mad at that person. Every time you see them, he owes me $2,000. But if you didn't expect it back, you could say no if you don't have it or if you can't afford it. But if you do give it to them, just don't expect it back. My dad used to say that to me, and maybe I didn't get it, at the time.
Mm,
My dad was unclear on a lot of his stuff. One of his best things to me was he was walking around one day saying, can't eat the washer and dryer. Can't eat the washer and dryer. Like, finally, I said to him, heck you talking about? You can't eat the washer and dryer. Oh, your mother paid off the washer and dryer, but there's no food in the refrigerator. Like, what? So he's trying to say that we didn't have any money, but the washer and dryer is paid off. So basically, he's saying she made bad money management
right.
decisions, right?
Yeah.
So he's trying to teach me a lesson, but he's beating around the bush. You know what I mean?
Mm,
But now that I'm 60 years old, or I'll be 60 my next birthday, I get it. Maybe back then I can't eat the washer and dryer. What the heck, But now I get it.
mm, right.
And fun stuff. And I don't know. We're getting probably to the end of your thing here. Is there any closure
Yeah.
you want to make? Go ahead, Karen.
Oh, yeah. Um, let's see. It was like a few days ago, I wrote a post um, that just came out of my innermost being. In fact, I didn't consciously know what I was going to write and that I was going to put it out there, but I did. And right at the end, I had a little a sentence like, if you want to know more about finding harmony with your kids, go to www.happykidsco.com and check out my latest book, uh, uh, The One Rule to Raising Happy Kids. And actually, that title, which I feel completely wholesome about, the one that I had before, Raising Happy Kids, I liked it, but it didn't feel like this one does. Well, this one came from the endorsement that you sent to me, because in it, you wrote about my book, The One Rule, and I thought, oh, wow. And so then it just came to me to put those two together. I mean, it makes total sense. The One Rule to Raising Happy Kids. And
Hmm?
and a couple of people got it. And I boosted my post, and we'll see what happens. But
Okay. And I'm thinking that's all we might need to say about that, just to get
I
people's
know,
attention and to click on it. All that other mumbo jumbo that we've
right?
been working through, all we need to say, want to raise happy kids? Here's the one rule. Click right here. And then they go right to a link that says, buy my book, get your training. We keep
Yeah,
it that
let's do
simple.
it. Let's do
Let's
it.
just say, get rid of the mumbo jumbo, get their attention
Let's do it.
for what we
Can
really, or what
would
we're
you
really
write
trying
this
to
up,
do.
Brian? Would you write this up and send it to me? And
Yeah.
then we'll do that.
And then no more
Yeah,
mumbo jumbo long things. What should we say?
right.
Here's the one rule for, raising happy kids in a negative world, or positive kids in a negative world. Here's the one rule. There's only one rule. Click here. And then when they click there, boom, here's Karen's products. That one page you have, that membership page, it looks just like some of that other stuff I was sharing with you, where some people you have a whole library of topics.
Yeah,
that one page, that membership page of yours is awesome. Where there's a whole page. It's like a big poster of all these different topics.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
That's
I want to
in my
read them all.
membership site.
Yeah, I want to read them all. Yeah.
You have to be a
Okay.
member. We'll
It'll take
make
me
you a
45
member.
years. Right. Yeah,
I
I
know.
was going through I was going through each one. I'm like, wow, she's been busy.
Leslie, when Leslie's a member, she's
I
my
had no idea.
longest member. And when she first got on, because I say in the membership, when you go into it, it says immerse yourself. And she said, oh, that's right, or something. She said something about the immerse yourself because there's so much. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You ain't gonna get out of there in one day. It's kind of like the Smithsonian Institute, in Philly. You can't go in one day. You got
Right, and the thing is, I need to add the current trainings, like the one rule. I'm going to make sure it's in there, and I have my 2-year-old training. I'm going to make sure that's in there too. So
yeah, and they all meet all the criteria, for
yeah,
what folks need. So it's all
yeah.
divided right up there for you. You should just offer a certificate for each one of those. And every year
Oh,
they can renew it. They have to do it every year. Yep, a certificate for each one. Like
wow,
4 hours or so. Click here,
interesting.
get the $15 on 2-year-old, get your certificate. Click here, get your one on shaken baby syndrome, and get your certificate. Comes along with it.
Yeah, I took a training on the SIDS.
Yep.
And so I have a complete training on SIDS. So, but
That's
I
one of the
didn't create it. Somebody else created it. I just have it. So
that's all right. If you're a trainer, you're allowed to share that. That's what teachers do.
okay.
All right.
Well,
Well, nice being with you. That's a quick hour, huh?
yeah. Oh, it was
Sorry
beautiful.
for
I
everyone
love.
who missed. Hopefully they'll see this on YouTube when you post it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Let's catch it
Okay.
there.
And so
All right, Karen.
you'll send me the email, right? So we can do.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
Sounds good.
Karen.
All right.
Have a good rest of your day. Go
You
meditate
too.
and go run on your running thing. All right.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Actually, I walk.
Walk on your treadmill.
I
Okay.
will. Okay.
All right.
Take
Bye-bye.
care. Bye.